Here's what's coming up tonight on News Center Now. When it comes to protecting your important information, don't believe everything you read online. We're verifying.
We know about places that people can go to get help for their opioid addiction, but what if the people who could give the help came to your house? That's a real thing. We'll have that story. This is News Center Now.
A superintendent says he plans to resign after a shakeup in his school district. Good evening, everyone. I'm Lindsay Mills.
And I'm Lee Goldberg. Parents and board members say RSU 73 Superintendent Todd Leroy went rogue, getting rid of the high school principal, making other administrative changes without their knowledge. Chris Costa explains why parents are now feeling conflicted about the superintendent's plans to leave.
Everybody was shocked. You're blindsided.
Linda Flagg says her kids were shocked when they heard Spruce Mountain High School principal TJ Plord was no longer working for the school.
Why TJ? The most respected principal in our district. Why TJ?
The announcement came as part of a series of changes by Superintendent Todd Leroy, including plans to downsize and reassign administrative staff between the middle and high schools.
What just happened? Does anybody else know about this? I went through board meeting minutes. No mention, no talk.
But the school board's vice chair, who works here at Oxford Hills, says the board was never told about any of these plans, and he says they should have been.
The board had no public discussion, no public meetings, and it just happened without the board's approval of it happening.
RSU 73 School Board Vice Chair Michael Morrill says a superintendent can move principals from one building to another, but cannot remove and reconfigure positions without board approval.
And to have board members not aware and not able to speak on it really put us behind the eight ball, like we were trying to hide something. And we definitely weren't.
Oh my goodness, thank you guys.
TJ Plord was brought back from what the board is now calling an administrative leave. On Tuesday, school staff voted 155-4 in favor of a vote of no confidence in the superintendent. In an email to the union president, Leroy said he plans to hand in his resignation after just over 4 months in the district.
You guys are so awesome.
While students and parents like Linda are happy to have their principal back, she's worried about the possible search for a new superintendent.
This whole situation all around is sad. Nothing to be excited about, celebrate, nothing.
We reached out to Leroy for comment, but got no response. Chris Costa, News Center, Maine.
We reached out to the superintendent but did not hear back. School board and union staff say Leroy has not officially handed in his resignation yet, and there is a meeting scheduled for tonight, but the board will likely not discuss his future with the district until he does.
All right, switching gears, and this morning, I don't know what it was like for you, but trying to get to my car was an adventure. I should have just put on skates and pads and like a helmet, because it was like straight ice castles out there.
And to your point of this, like I've bought so many different types of shoes over the years to walk to work in ice. Nothing but the cleats work.
Right.
You know what I mean?
You have cleats
metal
for your
spikes.
shoes?
Oh yeah, I got the little metal spikes that you put on there and take it off. But you gotta take them off.
That's Keith Carson.
Yeah.
You don't think he's got metal
Got
spikes
the metal
on his
spikes?
shoes? Come on.
Okay.
I'm offended.
Had those in Atlanta.
Yeah.
Wait,
I just trounced around. It was 90 degrees. It was aerating the lawn. All right, let's have a look at the radar. Still some snow showers out there. Lee's point, though, is that everything froze over, and now that's going to be the case until at least next Tuesday. So nothing's really going anywhere after that. Still some snow showers and light snow here over parts of down East Maine. This is all just air mass change, snow, northwest winds, and colder air moving in. And a couple snow showers here out towards Lincolnville as well, and just to the north of Rockland. Temperatures right now aren't that bad, but they'll be falling quickly tonight into the 20s right now, teens in the mountains, but we'll get down into the single digits pretty easily in the mountains and right around 10 to 13 degrees along the immediate coastline. Wind gusts have been a little feisty too, and this is the wind of change, the northwest wind. Northwest winds are great during the summer, refreshing, dry, but this time of the year they're brutal, coming northwest and dropping temperatures down 25 to 30 mile per hour gusts. Guys, it'll be well below zero this weekend. I don't know what else we can talk about. It's going to be real cold this weekend. I'll be back though.
It's great. Mr. Good News, thank you so much. Can't wait to see you again. So obviously we have now learned that the weekend's going to be that teeth chattering type of cold. If you need me, I will be inside.
All right, and if you are going outside, you got things to do. How can we get rid of that ice, and how can we get rid of it fast?
Well, I feel like I'm becoming the ice expert, because yesterday we were talking about driving, and now it's about how you get out of your car and make sure you don't bust one on your way to your house. And the way to do that, Main Hardware tells me, is with calcium chloride. So go buy some. They say they've sold thousands of pounds of calcium chloride and rock salt today, and another big seller is sand. And it's all in anticipation of a freezing cold weekend across the state. So what's the best method for de-icing your driveway or sidewalk? Main Hardware says calcium chloride pellets take the cake. They say it works up until 15 degrees below zero, whereas rock salt taps out around -5 degrees. Now, calcium chloride is a bit more expensive, but you can use less of the product.
I find when people use too much of the product, you can see as it's creating the water again, you can see it running off. And you just don't need to use that much. But people feel that they just douse the whole area down, it's going to do a better job, and it really is just wasting a lot of material.
So Tim says sand is also great to use, but it's not going to melt the ice. It'll help with traction. Now, his advice on preparing for the cold this weekend is to get rid of as much of the snow and ice as possible, so that when the freezing weather sets in, you know, you don't have that ice to deal with. So it's going to be a cold one, y'all. I'm with you, Lee. I'm inside. I am inside.
I keep bringing all the sand and salt inside with me, and that drives me crazy. I've been like using the broom and the vacuum and all that nonstop. So, Cam, thanks so much.
Thank you.
Checking out some other headlines today. President Trump making his case again to build a wall at the Mexico border. This on day 20 of the government shutdown. The president, who met with law enforcement officials in Texas today near the border, is teasing the possibility of declaring a national emergency to build the wall without congressional approval.
It used to be one of the most sought-after positions in entertainment, and now nobody gets to do it. Variety reporting that the Oscars will proceed without any host. We're just 6 weeks away from the ceremony. It'll be the first time in 30 years that the show has not had a marquee host. Actor Kevin Hart stepped down as the host last month after some controversy regarding some old jokes that offended gay rights advocates. Today, Seaport Credit Union employees teamed up with the City of Portland for a very good cause, helping out folks that stay at the Oxford Street and family shelters in Portland. Seaport donated $500 to the City of Portland, and with that money, the city was able to buy vital items like gloves, hand warmers, granola bars, and more.
Today, Seaport employees came to City Hall to assemble care packages for people staying at the shelters.
And we really value activities that are more experiential and things that we feel like we're making an impact on beyond just writing a check. So this seemed like a really good opportunity.
Well, your money is important, of course. There has been a social media rumor, though, about how you can spot one of those skimmers installed at an ATM machine to steal your credit or debit card information.
Have you ever looked for those before?
I actually have.
See, I hadn't until we ran a story about it once, and now I'm just like kind of
You can touch and you can wiggle, make sure it's secure.
So we sent our verified team to find out if entering the wrong PIN number is a good way to spot one of those skimmers.
Our Verify segments debunk fake news and get you the truth when it comes to some of those dubious online claims. One recent post that went viral says if you want to detect a counterfeit card reader, like a skimming device, punch in the wrong PIN number with your debit card. The device will allegedly process the payment and print a receipt, while an authentic machine would reject an incorrect PIN. So to get answers, we went to the experts at the American Bankers Association, who told us, well, don't bank on this tip working to detect credit card fraud. Remember, credit card skimming involves placing a small illegal device onto a legitimate card reader that then steals your card information. So if you enter the wrong PIN number, that's not going to stop crooks from already getting access to your credit card number. Now, the FTC, the Federal Trade Commission, says avoid skimmers by closely examining card readers. Try to wiggle the card reader before you swipe your card, and if it's loose, it could have been tampered with. Android users can try a free skimmer scanner app that detects gas pump skimmers via Bluetooth technology. And you always want to shield the PIN pad with your other hand, as you punch in your PIN number. So we can verify, yeah, entering an incorrect PIN on a card reader, no, not a reliable method to detect debit card fraud.
Some helpful tips there.
There you go.
3 dogs with severely matted fur are in a much better place now. We're going to meet the people at the Humane Society who saved them.
And we'll find out about a 52-week in-home treatment program for something that many Mainers will agree is a major problem. All right. Hey,
How
Facebook,
do you say that?
I don't have a mic again.
No mic again. How do
Spokane.
is it? I thought it's Spokane, right?
Sure.
Because it's opposite of how it looks. Spokane.
Hold
Thanks,
on.
Cam.
We have a hello to Maddie Cassidy from someone named Shauna. Oh, Maddie Cassidy, come on up. You're getting people to say hello to you.
We're going to the newsroom.
Well, we want you guys to say hello to Maddie. Come on over.
Jesse's talking about the metal spikes.
You have to talk into Lindsay's mic because my mic's broken. So this is Maddie. She's from York.
This is our Facebook cam over here.
Facebook.
Hello.
She's job shadowing with us today because we're going to try to talk her out of wanting to do television for a living.
Maddie, where do you go to school?
Stono College.
Nice. In Mass?
Mm-hmm.
Very good.
So you think you really want to do this for a living?
Yeah, I'm a little nervous like up here now, but
so is Lindsay.
Yeah. It's just so fun. Like everyone's having so much fun.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd love to look into it more.
Yeah.
We'll talk her out of it. Your mom says hi on Facebook. I'm assuming that's your mom.
Yep, that's hi, Mom.
There you go. You gotta say hi to Mom.
Some of our routine Facebook viewers, our loyal Facebook viewers, are saying hello too.
Yeah, Fred says hello. Pat says hello. Oh, that's my girl.
Oh.
All right.
Very good.
You got to meet Maddie.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bye, everybody.
Thanks for hanging today. I think we're going to the newsroom.
All right.
Dee.
Okay. So yeah, no microphone again for me today. Sorry, guys.
Sorry. Sorry, not sorry.
Lindsay sabotaged it.
Yeah. Because that's what I'm about. That's what I'm about. Ugh. I don't know where the other one went. I'm gonna ad-lib this. You okay with that?
Sure.
I'm just gonna ad-lib that. That's a lot to remember.
Who works Saturdays? Is it Dustin, reporter? Chris Costa?
Clay, if it's in the morning, Clay needs a story.
Seriously? I have an amazing story.
If it's in the morning.
Like what time in the morning? Like
He's done by like 12:30, so anytime before 12:30. Text him. He will love that.
Oh my God. Just call him. That may be easier.
In Washington State, 3 Shih Tzu dogs have been nursed back to health, and the community has raised thousands of dollars to help them. They were in a terrible situation. Their owners wanted to have them euthanized because they were biting.
Here's much more about Candy, Angel, and Katie.
I've been here about a year. I love it, yes. I think I just hit about 800 hours. It's hard to get away once you come in. Didn't really know what I was walking into. I've never seen anything this bad before.
We just jumped into our emergency mode.
It took almost 6 hours to get them shaved.
We got 13 pounds of hair off the dogs.
You wouldn't even know they were dogs. They were just giant walking fur balls full of fecal matter and dirt and garbage and all sorts of things.
You couldn't even see their faces. You couldn't see their eyes, and now they have eyes and teeth and a nose, and it's almost like they're smiling, and they're in cute little warm sweaters.
They're a little shy and scared, but once you go sit with them and make friends with them, they come around and give you kisses.
We met with our veterinarians here and asked, how much do you think you're going to have to spend to get these dogs ready for adoption? $1,000 a piece.
We're just slowly working on all their medical things, looking at their blood work. They all need dentals.
That's why we started the Facebook Fund. We're up to almost $2,000 as of this afternoon, and we will probably make the money that we need to get these 3 little darlings ready for adoption in the next 2 weeks. We need the community support financially. We need your donations so that we can keep getting shelter dogs healthy and adopted.
What a great story there. I was just driving by the Mid-Coast Humane Society today, actually in Brunswick, where we rescued Lucy from, and it just gives me all the feels every time I drive by.
And at least you didn't go in and go get more, like my wife always does, so there you go. So, okay. As a police officer, you never know what the job might entail on any given day. This morning, York police responded to a horse that was loose, of course. Patrolman Scott Randall and Tim Conley were especially helpful in corralling the horse and bringing it back to its home. There you go.
The only thing that would have been better is if a moose were on the loose. Just gonna say that. He loves it. You love it.
Dad jokes.
Dad jokes for days. All right, coming up, we're gonna learn about awareness care and recovery care and a new presence for that in Maine.
And we'll bring Keith back to tell us how cold will it actually go. Oh, Carson, he's gone. He gone.
He gone. Aware of recover care is what I was trying to say, everybody.
Leave him on loose. You do have a lot of dad jokes, considering.
I know. Well, it's because, guys, Christina Rex gave me the nickname of Mom. I gotta live up to it.
Good.
I have a notepad that says that mom hustle, and it's no joke.
We need to split this, Reed.
Let's split it up. I'm gonna go talk to Shannon though real quick. Oh, wait, you have to talk to everybody. Okay.
So I guess you're not.
Long story short.
No.
We're on Facebook Live and I have a microphone on. But long story short, yes, Clay needs a story. If it's before, if it's in the morning, it's perfect for him.
It's definitely in the morning. It can be really early morning or however early.
That's perfect. He gets off the desk at 7 a.m. Saturday, 8 a.m. Sunday.
Perfect.
He's gonna love you. If you call him right now, he'll answer.
Oh my God.
Thanks, Shannon. He's gonna love you.
I'm gonna put in your.
Guys, Lee is especially frustrated with me today.
Just saying.
Oh, look, my mom's watching. What's up, Mom?
What's up, Mama?
What's up? Oh, Peter's watching from Knoxville.
Okay, so you want? I wrote this, so you might want to.
Want to refresh?
Just because there's a lot there.
Okay. Oh, because I have to say aware recover care again. At least I get a second try.
I'm saying that one.
Oh, and then that's broken. I'll type it in for you.
No, say it out loud. No, go ahead. I think everybody wants to hear what you have to say.
Hi, everyone.
Don't worry about us. Just Shannon can't wait till 5:30 to have the conversation.
Very busy.
There you go.
Thank you.
You're
I'm
welcome.
helping a fellow colleague.
Who happens to be my hubs. So it's beneficial for me too.
Car shopping on Saturday?
Happy hubs, happy life. That's what they say, right? Yeah, right. Guys, my car failed inspection. Can we talk about that? Let's be real.
We're moving.
Let's be real. It's funny. Last week when Coco was here, someone had wrote in with a side of sarcasm saying, well, we were talking about minimum wage, and they said, well, how much do you get paid to sit in those chairs and read the words? And it should be very telling that my car failed inspection.
Yeah, my car also has some few inspection issues right now. Delay. I'm first.
Okay, thank you.
There's a company that offers a pretty unique approach to treating people with addiction, and it has just started practicing here in our state. Aware Recovery Care has been around for 8 years and has branches in Connecticut, New Hampshire, and now in Maine.
It's an in-home addiction treatment program that's based on research that supports the idea that recovery in the real world leads to far better rehab results. The company claims that its 52-week in-home treatment program promotes lasting recovery, improves outcomes, and increases the patient's overall physical and psychological well-being. If you sign up for the program, your team consists of an addiction psychiatrist, a licensed specialty care coordinator, a family wellness liaison, and a licensed marriage and family therapist, an individual therapist, and 2 certified recovery advisors.
Things. They can stay employed, they can stay with their family. They have their services set up right in their home. So let's say that you live here in Maine and you go to a treatment program that is either 2 hours away or maybe in Utah. and you can have all of this great treatment for 28 days, but you come home to the same things that you left, and you don't have those services set up. So we have the services for a psychiatric nurse practitioner or a therapist or a local AA or NA meeting or even yoga. We have it set up for you in your community. So you don't have to recreate what was done in a facility a long way away. It's created right there in your hometown. Maine being the 6th highest as far as the opiate epidemic and crisis, we know that there is such a need here in Maine, and so that's what brought us to Maine.
Aware Recovery Care is an in-network provider if you have Anthem Blue Cross Blue Shield of Maine, but it's an out-of-network provider for a number of other major insurers, so reimbursement is determined by the type of out-of-network benefit plan that you have. So there you go.
Very good. All right, before we get to a check-in with that forecast, you guys have to check this out. A frozen waterfall in Japan. The mercury needs to fall below -9 degrees for a week to see this type of spectacular view. And if it completely freezes over, it will be the first time in 7 years for this waterfall.
And Fukuroda Falls is 400 feet tall.
I'm glad you said
and
it,
it's
not
almost
I saw you skip that.
No, hold on. She skipped it 3 times. She didn't skip it once.
Here's the thing.
So, but it's almost all frozen, 400 feet.
Is that, you say confidently?
There's science behind that.
Quickly, and you're good. Is that 9 degrees below Celsius or Fahrenheit?
It says.
I wasn't paying attention.
Okay.
I was watching her skip the name of the falls.
9 degrees, but they use Celsius
I'm guessing
everywhere
that's
but America,
so
as it turns out.
So would that be in Fahrenheit, if that's...
I don't know.
16. Thanks, Jess.
Math teacher.
So -16.
There you go.
Okay.
Thanks, Jess.
The only one that I remember is -40 is the same in both Fahrenheit and Celsius.
Oh.
Let's go to the next.
Brain drop.
Now I know that.
Do it!
Brain drop.
Now I know this.
In the meantime, we got a couple snow showers still out there today. The story, though, is the falling temperatures. We'll talk more about that in a second. This snow shower is pretty persistent here over parts of down East Maine. I haven't seen too many reports of this being a problem, but I will say when the snow is hitting, it's coating ground very quickly because it's very cold at the surface and there's snow already on the ground. Snow showers here coming out of the mountains as well, typical areas out towards Bethel and Rumford, and that's all upslope flow kind of snow, adding to their totals. They actually got a little powder day out in the mountains today, which they didn't necessarily expect. They'll take that. Current temperatures, teens right around 20 degrees, and then upper 20s along the coastline. But we're going to drop fast tonight, and so we'll end up around 13 in Portland, 11 in Wiscasset, 4 in Rangeley, 2 should do it in Greenville, and 11 in Caribou. And this is a theme that we'll see over the next few days where it gets colder and colder straight through the weekend. Hour by hour forecast, pretty clean tonight, nothing really going on. Tomorrow should be a bright day, but remember, the sun angle this time of year doesn't really do much of anything, and so it's all air mass. Even with all this sun, in the middle of the day here, we're still going to be 18, 19 degrees at best along the coast. And then look at the mountains, even with some sun in there, 3, 4, 5 degrees is what the models are spitting out for a high temperature tomorrow, so that's lovely. And then Saturday is the same thing. It's mostly sunny, but again, the sun is ineffectual in warming us, and so we start below 0. We get up to 15 to 17 degrees by Saturday afternoon. Then we go back down again on Sunday, another cold day. So this is what it looks like visually, and you don't need to know a ton to know that you don't want the purple right over your head. And the purple comes down for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We get a little moderation mid next week, and then another lobe tries to break off. The indications are pretty strong that late January, early February will not only be chilly, but potentially very stormy as well. So it might be a chance for me to earn my keep, Lee. I know you're always watching, making sure that I'm worth it.
It can't snow that much.
It can't snow enough to make it worth it. Fair. All right, let's talk about the storm on Sunday real quick. It is still sailing to the south. Maybe a few snow showers over Foxborough, but should not be a big factor for them. All right, quiet. Straight through next week, we start moderating a bit and then back to cold conditions late in the week. And as I mentioned, the most interesting thing in the nerd world right now for weather is the potential signal that we're seeing for late January, early February, which is a strong signal. It's been there a few times in the models, and it would just be a good track for storms. That's all we can see that far in advance. So we shall see.
All right, can't wait for that.
Yeah, I know you're excited.
Also, can't wait for dinner.
I know.
Are you hungry?
I'm so hungry.
A lot of people hungry.
It's that time of day.
Is that Whole30? Still doing that?
No,
What's
Whole30's done.
happening? Oh, what do we got there? It looks
I'm
like,
coming over for dinner.
Hold on, what is that?
It looks like
That's some type of fajita.
beans.
Fajita, burritos, something going on
Yeah, and yeah.
there. All right,
That
I'm gonna go
looks
with
yummy.
fajitas or like just a regular soft taco, which I'm fine with.
Oh, what's this?
No caption needed. Although if you could tell
Wow.
us what food it is,
That looks
it
so
just looks really nice.
professional.
Yeah, that's way fancy.
Yeah. Oh, and then here we
Here
go.
we go.
Pizza.
Pizza.
Oh,
Are you
begging?
On.
I know. You can't have pizza without a side of a begging pup. Look at his chops. He just wants a piece.
Small piece.
Give him a small piece
What's
of
the
that pepperoni.
big deal, small piece?
Are you begging? Fine. He'll be fine. Okay.
Sam.
All right, a lot more coming up on News Center Maine at 5:30. Cindy Williams is here with a preview. Hey, Cindy.
Hi, guys. This is the time of year we listen for that beep, beep, beep. You know, the oil trucks backing up to fill up your oil tanks and keep your furnaces running. But right now, there is a serious shortage of oil truck drivers. It's an industry-wide problem. So what can be done? And check out this pint-sized cheerleader, only 4 years old, and what she lacks in size, she makes up with sass. And people just cannot get enough of this routine online. It's trending. Those stories and more at 5:30. Back to you.
Can't wait to see that. Thanks, Cindy. Stick with us. Raindrops when we come back.
Beecher, thank you for the compliment of my sweater.
Franken says he would love some major storms. Oh, Beecher, that's so cute. He says pizza crust is called pizza bones for our dogs.
Yes, that is true.
That's a great thing to do if you don't like the crust. Although, every dog is different. Tito's little tummy probably couldn't handle that.
My dogs love crust.
Do they?
And any other food. As long as it's not their food.
I know.
As long as it's our food, they
yeah.
love it. If it's their food, not
We
so
just went through a weird thing with Lucy, the big dog that I was just talking about earlier, where she was like totally uninterested in her food. And then we switched it from puppy to adult. She's technically not 1 until February, but we switched it to her adult, and now she's like, she loves it.
Huh.
Interesting.
I
But
wonder what they do to it to make it different.
I don't know. She was like totally uninterested. That might be a good story.
Did you try both flavors?
I have not tasted my dog's food. Have you? Do you taste Reese's dog food?
Times are tough.
I like the way dog food smells.
Oh God.
But I don't like. I would never want to eat it.
Stop.
No.
My dog eats like bison.
Okay.
And I thought, how out of whack
You
is
don't
that?
cook steak for Reese's?
No. How out of whack is that with nature?
Right.
That a 12-pound dog is eating bison.
Right.
Like.
Because in the wild, a 12-pound dog would probably be eating insects.
Right. How many Datsuns would it take to take down one bison? Like 150?
That visual is so funny.
They have to be nipping at it.
Tito with the one claw. He's like. Oh my god.
I mean, I guess you could say that about humans too. We eat a lot of food that, like, without help from science and mechanisms, we couldn't kill either. But
Yeah,
That's a good point.
Shut that off because they don't. They tend to wander.
By they, you mean Lee.
Yeah. And Keith.
I do. I'm a walker.
I have to stay put because if I wander, then.
Bill Taylor actually
My
used to
height's
yell at me
exposed.
all the
Do we have
time
something before
on the
Green
green wall, but he
Really?
gave up.
He gave up. Yeah.
Okay.
Mom hustle. I like that.
Yeah, that mom hustle.
Wouldn't it be funny if you decide to actually become a mom and you're like a totally different person? You're like
know,
way
like-
less responsible.
I know. I become
Yeah.
like the opposite.
Yeah.
Stand by.
Yeah, that'd be crazy.
Stand by.
Could happen.
Stand by.
Maybe.
All right.
Stand by.
Hey. All right. So I'm still working to go, which is great because we go to the well. So let's take a look at the question that was asked, which is, here we go. Scott Murray wants to know about the recent sunspot activity and how it may or may not be affecting Earth's weather over the next decade, which is a nice question. Let's go to the graph because that's where a lot of the science is done. And in short, sunspot activity is it goes through 11-year cycles. It's a long explanation for this, but basically the sun reverses its polarization every 11 years. And so what the data there goes back to the 1770s, which seems weird, right, guys?
Yeah.
But it was actually one of the longest running science experiments we have because as soon as they invented a telescope, they started keeping track of the sunspots on the sun. They literally just count them. Let's go back to the graphic real quick though. What I want to show you is in the 2010s, which is where we are here, notice it's a very small hump compared to the others. So we're actually entering a solar minimum in that regard, where we're going to have less sunspot activity. This was predicted 2020, and it could go up to 40 years. We could have that solar minimum. This will be interesting for a number of reasons. We know the sun is not the reason for our recent warming, but there's a possibility that it does have some impact, right? Sunspot activity, especially when it peaks here and there. So we're about to really hit the metal here and see what happens in 2020 and beyond, because if we continue to warm at the rate that we're warming, we should be cooling as the Earth in general. That should have started in about 2010 when we had these lower minimums here, but it hasn't happened yet, of course, because we keep pumping CO2 in the atmosphere. But this will be a really good trend line to watch in the future, as we should be in a minimum. And if we keep warming, you know, +1, +2, then we know for sure, which we already kind of do, that it's our doing. But good question, sunspot activity. And you can do it yourself if you have the right equipment, by the way.
Oh.
But NASA does it. So it's a little easier for NASA.
And they're open during the government shutdown?
Yes. You know what? I don't know about the sunspot thing. I think it's automated program at this, so probably. Yeah.
Okay.
Good question, Lindsay.
Yes,
good question.
Informed question.
Good question, Lindsay.
News Center Maine at 5:30 starts now. Bye, guys. Adios, adios. Is sunspot activity crucial to